Hey, Hillside. Well, in Genesis 39 to 41, we kind of see the story of Joseph. And that got me thinking. Joseph knew that he was sold into slavery by his brothers. So he knew that he was wrongly enslaved. He had done nothing to deserve it, right? And then after that, right, when he's serving his master, he's accused of assaulting the master's wife, but he didn't do anything, and he's wrongly imprisoned. He knows he shouldn't be there. And I'm thinking, how often, like, if I was in that situation where I feel like I'm in a situation I don't want to be in, or I think it's unfair or unjust, right? I'm going to be in, or I'm being made to do something like a slave, right, that I don't want to do. I don't do it with a good attitude, right? You complain about it, or you don't do it well. When I talked about this with you, I said, when you get told to do a chore or something, like, do you put your best effort into it? Or some of them really don't like school and they hate their classes. Like, are you putting your best effort in, like, the subjects that you don't like? I thought of my brother. Like, I loved to mow the lawn, so I used to do it that I enjoyed doing that. But I remember him being told to one time, like the first time we had a big yard. It took like 3 hours on a riding mower, and he mowed one time, and just it just wasn't good. And almost like, you kind of do it on purpose, not well, so that because the lawn is like a visible thing, so if it looks bad, right? So you kind of don't do a good job so that you don't have to do it again in the future, right? That's like our attitude in these situations. Or we complain about our job or our whatever our situation is that we feel is unfair. And but what did Joseph do? No, that was not his attitude at all, right? He was wrongly enslaved, and he was like, okay, if you're gonna make me a slave, then I'll be the best slave that I can possibly be. I'll be the best slave you've ever seen. And so then he gets put in charge over everything, right? And everything he does prospers. Then he gets put in prison, and when he's like, oh, great, like, well, I'm not a slave anymore, but now I'm in prison. And what's his attitude? No, he is like, okay, I'll be the best dang prisoner you've ever seen. And he gets put in charge of all the other prisoners, and the guard puts him in charge of everything that goes on day to day in the prison. And God honors these things and makes everything that he does prosper. And then guess what? Because of that, then he ends up being elevated into a position of, okay, now you're going to be second only to Pharaoh in all of Egypt, right? From a prisoner and a slave to like the second in charge of all of Egypt. And guess what? He also does that to the best of his ability and is an amazing leader. And so I thought, okay, do we complain about our lot in life? Got me thinking, right? Or am I striving to be the best X, whatever it is that there's ever been? Am I striving to be the best? And in doing so, like, I am serving and displaying and God's love and what it is to be a Christian, right? Like, just whatever you're put in, whatever situation you're put in. I think of Louis talks about all the time about when he worked as a janitor and cleaning things, and it was a nasty job. But you know what? And people had a bad idea. His coworkers had bad ideas of Christians, and so he totally changed that by doing like the dirty work that people didn't want to do, not glorious work, but doing it really well and doing it with I don't know if I would say cheerful disposition with him, but doing it, to the best of his ability and working hard and being used by God wherever we are. And I thought of First Peter when he talks about not giving them a reason, not giving the Gentiles or the non-believers, really is what that means, any charge to bring against you, so that when they try to come against you, right, that they won't be able to say anything, because whatever situation you've been in, you've done it well, and you've done it rightly, and not complained and succeeded. So my encouragement for you, whatever your situation is, look, am I complaining about it or whatever, or am I being Joseph, being the best dang, whatever it is that there's ever been? All right, we'll see you next time, Hillside.